Hello, beautiful souls, all the boots on the ground, the Army of Light Earth Division. Shawna L. Francis here, and today is July 18th, 2023. I hope you're all doing amazing. I thank you so very much for being here. This is the weekly briefing, and it wasn't quite as crazy as it was last week, but there's still a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss. I hope you're all doing great. I had a major energy upgrade this week and was cycling energy in the Halls of Amenti of all places. This has been quite a journey, learning how to do this. I also had a nice long conversation with Racer about his transition, about what happened afterward, and his decision to join our team like this as our personal guide. And what else? I just want to kind of bring to everybody's attention before I get into the channeling here. A big theme through the one-on-one sessions that I've been having and kind of just talking with other people, I think it's kind of fun to be thinking about how can you make this illusion work better for you? What can you do? What's in your power to help make this illusion work better for you? Remember that we don't want to be taking things too darn serious. We are in a temporary vessel that's allowing our souls to evolve, allowing our souls to balance karma, to learn lessons, to have experiences. Many of these things we chose before birth. So know that the universe is conspiring for you, not against you. How can you make this illusion work better for you? What's in your power? Where are you getting in your own way? Where do old, stubborn patterns keep rearing their heads and inserting themselves into your world? If we really understand, team, that this is a temporary human experience that we're having and that we've asked for just about everything that's coming our way, we can start to work with that energy differently. We can start to think about ourselves in a different way and about everybody else who's around us, helping us with our own lessons. This is an illusion. It's a grand illusion. We're the main actor on the stage, full of supporting actors and actresses and a script that we don't really know, but everything falls together just how it should at the right timing. So know this, guys. Don't take things too darn serious. What can you do to help make this illusion work better for you? Hopefully that helps. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I still have 7 different documents with channeling discussions to go through this week. Really fun stuff for the most part. I will say on the day that I made my video last week, it was in the wee morning hours, Wednesday, July 12th. I got into the Halls of Amenti, and basically I was just seeing all these beautiful images and having all these memories come up of my firstborn son. So that was such a treat, just seeing his face and smelling him for the first time and kissing him and breastfeeding him and watching him grow. And it was all these little details that I'd really forgotten about and haven't thought about in years. So all of that basically replayed for me. And it was really quite touching. And after about 15 minutes of this, kind of subsided, and I'd asked the halls guides, you know, this has been really lovely. Am I in the halls of Amenti? Am I seeing what I'm supposed to? And they said, just consider this a small gift, a reconnection to that original base love for your newborn son, juxtaposed against sacrifices that have been made with newborn babies. Yeah. And I was just thinking, during those 15, 20 minutes of having all these memories come up, that I would have done anything. I would have done anything to stop my firstborn child from being, or any of my children to be, of being sacrificed or murdered in that way. So still kind of working through that atonement and those feelings. And I just thought it would just be so terrible to have to do that. I just can't even fathom it. And they said, yes, Shawna. They said, only love will get you out of this predicament. Only love will get you out of this predicament. Yeah, I just said it's just unconscionable. I I spent some time that day in the halls working with kind of setting the strongest intentions that I could think of to stop any kind of animal or child or person sacrifice, any kind of subjugation in that way from happening on the earth plane in the past, today, in the future, wiping it from the record, just completely, stop doing what I could to stop um, this from happening. So just, it probably took 20 minutes to just talk through this out loud, stating an affirmation. Also, team, if you ever feel the need, like, or have the time to sit down and state these kinds of things out loud, please do so. Your voice has a resonance and it helps aid with the manifestation. It also provides just real clarity in your word choice versus just thinking about it. Something like, I was just like, this is no longer necessary on any level, in any time frame, in any space. This act is done. Please take your children, take your babies home. Never commit another sacrifice again. Take your animals home and care for them. No more sacrifices of animals either. I said, on this day, in this moment, I help to release any burdens, anyone who feels obligated or where it is considered needed to take the life of anything or anyone in the name of appeasing a God. These practices are done. Let it be so. And I just kept going and going and going with this. And I was feeling pretty exhausted at the end of that. And the Halls of Amenti guides were like, Shawna, how are you feeling? And I said, I'm feeling sad and I'm tired. And I feel like this is just so huge. And it's been going on for just way too long. And they agreed. So that was Wednesday's experience. And it just gets better from there, thank goodness, in the halls. So on Thursday here, working with Melchizedek, they started by doing a bit of energy work with me, which was nice. They hadn't done that in a while. It used to be that every time I met with them last summer, they were doing energy work on me. I was there for about 10, 15 minutes where they were just working on my energy field, and more of this children's stuff came up for me. And I was just feeling so very powerful. And I tried, not so much using my words, but just using my energy field to well, here's what happened. I read a headline or something that talked about how all these children have been removed from their parents at the Mexico-United States border. When Trump was president, people were coming with their families, and somehow our administration decided that they were going to take the children away from the parents. And many of them, like I think tens of thousands of them, have not been reunited yet with their families. Some of them have died. So just really, really awful. And so that reminded me of that. And I got so angry. Where are these children? What are we doing with them? And, I know that you can't believe every headline, but certainly, this was a big deal back when it was happening. But I read recently there's still a big issue with this where the kids haven't been returned to their parents. What is going on here? Ukraine, the Russian soldiers have gone in and liberated, I want to say I read 200,000 children from Ukraine families. And they said, well, this is in the name of saving them from the war. Well, they're bringing them in and doing who knows what to these children. And I know that the movie The Sound of Freedom just came out, and some of you have seen this movie. I hear it's absolutely gut-wrenching and incredible. I have not seen it yet, but I was feeling anger, to be quite honest, just absolute anger. And I decided to try to channel that into what I was visualizing was any person on the planet, whether that be hive mind or under the influence of the negative reptilians or not conscious about what they're doing, anyone who has willfully taken a child or is harboring a child or is keeping a child against their will, to return the children home. So it was just like this It was like I had a megaphone the size of the sun, and I was blasting this planet with this message, return the children now. And my whole body was vibrating with this. And I was kind of in it, doing it before I even kind of realized what I was doing. And it felt quite powerful, quite liberating. I hope it makes a difference, because this is, again, it's just unconscionable. And knowing what we know about what's really going on, I'm just like, you get those damn children back to the parents. So I hope that that shook something up and woke some people up, or put somebody on notice. But at that as that was winding down, I saw this huge pillar of black energy shooting out of the center of the earth and up into space, like it was a geyser of negative energy just flowing out of the planet, like the size of I don't know, the size of Texas, or this, like a massive amount. Like, this is a big pillar of energy. And I just watched this, and I watched all these angels and all these beings capturing this energy and transmuting it. So that was also a part of it. So it was very, very intense, very vivid, this visual. And I came out of this, and I'm just like, Melchizedek. I don't know if that's what you had in mind, but oh my goodness, I said that was incredible. What was that? Was it helpful? Do you have anything to say about this experience? And they said, Dear Shawna, we're just getting started with this type of work. You did a beautiful job, impactful. You're getting it. You're getting the hang of this. You're getting to know your power. We'll help you, dear one, every step of the way. Yay. And this was really a precursor for kind of what happened the next day. So we're zipping right through this, not quite as intense as last week. All right. So, all right. Actually, on Friday the next day, I spoke with Racer. Racer came in, and it was so nice to connect with him. I said, so I kind of pulled him up, and he was excited to speak. I was joking with him, like, Racer, I don't know what you were thinking when you signed up for this. I hope you're okay. I'm really grateful for you to do this. And if you've read the comments along with me on the videos, everybody here, everybody's so excited that you're back and that you're helping us in this way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I said, we love your insights and your wisdom, your recommendations, your personality. I hope you're having some fun here. I said, Racer, I would love to know more about this war. I'd love to know more about what's happening if you're able to speak about this. Where are things now? Do you have the bigger picture, even any details that you want to share? I said, what about your passing and your decision to join us in this capacity? I said, that's a lot, but wherever you'd like to start, I'd love to hear from you. And he says, oh, Shawna, thank you so much. What a beautiful pairing. I will say that this feels very good. This feels right. It feels like the next natural step for us, for my involvement with you and all of your boots on the ground there on the earth. What a wonderful opportunity for the evolution of my soul, he said, to be in service in this way and to continue to work with forces of light, but in this new higher vibrational capacity. If you recall, Shawna, Racer said, I was an 8th dimensional Arcturian in my last life. It was a life that served me well, relatively speaking. And with how you perceive time, I was in that body for a very long time. Imagine hundreds and hundreds of years in your linear understanding. I had seen so much, done so much, accomplished many things, and learned even more. He says here, it was my greatest honor to serve alongside my comrades with the Galactic Federation of Light, fighting for a cause that I fully believe in, and of course still do, helping to be a force of good in the world, a force for change, a force for balance, and a force for reckoning. We all, he said, are aligned in some way to these basic tenets of this role as a light worker. Isn't that amazing, team, to think about all of us joined with all of these other beings in other dimensions to be a force for change, a force for balance, a force for reckoning, and all this crud that we have to deal with within our own singularities here, making this illusion work for us, to get to this point where we have a clear field where we can join and be as impactful as possible while we're down here. I'm still in awe about this whole process and this program and all the planning. And he continued here. Shawna, as I quote unquote sit here with you in this similar yet different energetic space from where we were before with me as Racer, I am struck by just how all-encompassing and thoroughly immersed the coverage of light has become in this particular realm. Possibly I am seeing it with a new perspective, with new eyes, if you will, new ways to perceive and even to understand the grace and the care and just how comprehensive this plan has been made manifest. It's quite a fulfilling space to be in, dear one. And I do hope that the work that we are able to do together, Shawna, that you hope that through the work that we are able to do together, Shawna, that you too will have the ability to know and to feel and comprehend that of which I speak. So in this particular realm, so I think he's talking about the earth realm. So from where he's sitting, it's much lighter and brighter than what he was thinking it was as Racer, as that 8D Arcturian. So that's really good. And he says, let us talk about my crossing over. And there was quite a long pause here. And he said, Shawna, I wish there was a grand tale to tell, a grand scheme, a harrowing escape, but alas, this was a relatively mundane exit from that plane of existence. Melchizedek has explained that there has been what I would term mass casualties on both sides. It has been horrific to bear, even as an eighth dimensional being. Even as a highly enlightened and evolved being that I was, it was difficult to experience the brutality of this war and all of the death and destruction and the frustration that came along with that. But when one fights for a cause such as we were and still continue, the transitioning out of a body is not such a high price to pay. You do seem to see the larger picture and the broader scope of the battle. And you also can comprehend ultimately where it's all headed. And that helps to give us all continued resolve to put all of our focus and attention into a successful outcome to the benefit of all. Shawna, I had given you a glimpse of what it was like to be in the throes of an energy attack from the enemy. And I said, yes, I remember this vividly. I think I talked to you all about it in a couple of videos. I said, is this painful to speak about, Racer? And he said, no, dear one. I said, well, I guess it's hard for me to hear it. And this was interesting. He said, yes, you and many of your boots on the ground have had similar experiences, and there will be a recognition of this at a certain level of consciousness. I said, yeah, I'm definitely seeing that through the comments. He said, imagine a quote unquote direct hit where I was stationed on the ship, and in essence, a liquefaction of all causal matter, effectively removing any structure to the matter that was there before and rearranging all the particles. Does that give you a general sense of what happens? And I said yes, and I could see it. I could see how there was structure and people and things, the ship, and then in the wake of this, it was all a melted, garbled mess, and you couldn't see any form. Excuse me. I said there was nothing discernible in that blob. He said, yes, dear one, that's basically correct. I said, did you suffer, Racer, or have any pain through that process? He says, only for the briefest of moments, Shawna, and then it was over. I said, I'm sorry, Racer, darn it. And I said, I'm sorry to any being who has fallen or fallen in that way. I said, Racer, if you're able to talk about your experience once you left that plane of existence, could you please talk about this and explain to us, what that was like for you? And he said, Shawna, imagine just a beautiful releasing. Oneself being removed from a chaotic and challenging situation into absolute peace, everlasting peace, and again being absorbed into the oneness, where there is no time and no rush, just the ability to be. And in the moment, I made a decision to reflect upon what had happened and where this plane of existence is at in terms of the ascension and this war. After my time of reflection, I came to the decision to rejoin my brothers and sisters, my brethren, in this capacity. Besides working with you, Shawna, in this way, I still continue to serve many others in a similar capacity in different realms of existence. I will do this until I feel content or a new calling presents itself. But that's beautiful, Racer. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for explaining all of that. He said, you're welcome. There's much more to be done, Shawna. In this new form, I am as dedicated as ever, representing the light, the interests of the light, and the overarching theme of balance. Okay. I said, Racer, do you know how Mantid is doing? And he said, yes, Shawna, I do. I said, could you please share? And he says, I will say that Mantid is what you'd consider to be injured and has been taken away from the serious fighting, more out of the intense thick of the battles for healing and recuperation. But he is expected to get back to his normal self with a full recovery. I said, oh my goodness. I said, that's good news. Darn it that he's injured. Bless everybody. Bless him. Bless everybody in the GFL. I said, Racer, what can we do here as boots on the ground on Earth to help? Should we be visualizing an end to the war? Should we be praying for peace? What should we be asking for? What's the right intention? What might have the most benefit to everybody who is in the throes of this war? And he said, Shawna, I'd say that first and foremost, it is a highly focused and conscientious tending to your own light as singularities. Because this ultimately strengthens the collective, which ultimately strengthens the light on a mass scale, ultimately raising the vibration of the entire plane of existence. Secondly, one may wish to direct their focus, one's intention and focus, to an all-around lifting in vibration, an infusion of light, and then hold that vision as if it were permanently infused into the field. And this will be all-inclusive. Every bit of existence who are fighting for the light and those who are fighting on behalf of the dark. This will help keep you in alignment with our highest purpose. Okay, team, so to reiterate, first and foremost, how do you help end this war? How do you help the boots that are up there, that are not on the ground, but fighting on the ships? You're going to make sure that your own vibration is as high as possible. What are you doing to make this illusion work for you? Clearing the detritus out of your fields, making those hard decisions, taking really good care of your body, cutting back, cutting out alcohol, positive intentions, all the good stuff. That's going to be the most impactful. Second, focusing on an all-around shift, a lift in vibration for everybody, not just the light. Okay. You have any doubt in what you should be doing, there's some very specific instructions while you're meditating. I said, thank you so much, Racer, for all of this. Everyone will be so happy to hear from you. I said, is there anything else that you want to say to the boots on the ground? And he says here, it's my sincerest hope that each and every one of you who is able to receive this message know to the depths of you that you are loved. You are a perfect and divine creation of Source. You are an integral part of this mission, and you are infinitely loved and supported. We all are humbled by the opportunity to serve your best interests and your highest good, and also to bring clarity and a deep sense of peace to the denseness of your reality. May we all join together as one cohesive unit, aligned in heart and joined in solidarity with the shared mission. Okay, I said, thank you, Racer, for that. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to continuing our dialogue. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Perfect, Racer. So great. All right. This is Sunday, getting into the Halls of Amenti here. Okay. I'll kind of explain what happened. There is a bit of channeling with the Halls guides, but this is where I got these big upgrades this week. So it's really been nice with the Halls of Amenti. Normally I have to kind of do this big invocation to get in. The last few weeks since I started re-entering the halls, I'm like, sit down, and I just set the intention to be entering the halls, and they say, we're ready for you, Shawna, come in anytime. And I like to picture these big jadeite doors, like these green doors with these black onyx handles, just the way I'm doing it. And I open these things up and I walk in. And I'm walking in grand fashion. It's like last week when I walked in and I just felt the energy and I just felt really like scared, and I knew something awful was going to happen. And there were the guides that were there that were holding my hands. Like this time, I opened both those doors up in grand fashion and I walked through, like I stride into this place. And my wings pop out and I'm just like owning it, like I'm just like ready for whatever's in the halls for me that day. So funny. It's interesting how my higher self or whatever is already kind of knowing and feeling what's going to be happening before I do, as this Shawna, before I walk in there. So I come and I see this bright light shining down. And so I go and stand underneath this like a spotlight. And I have like these two really tall, dark, like black, either they're black beings or they're wearing black robes or something, come up on each side of me, really tall, say 10 feet tall, really long, skinny arms, but they take my hands and they start walking me forward. And it feels like I'm just in slow motion. It's all very etheric and strange and just very otherworldly. I'm kind of walking with these dudes. They kind of lead me and then they let go of me and they back away. And all of a sudden, I am seeing my body multiply out the back of me, like the fun mirrors or something, where all of a sudden I am just exponentially a billion of me just right out the back of me, all my wings, my body, the whole thing. So I'm just multiplied over and over and over again, like a mirror. And it just at a certain point, I just felt this huge toroidal field start happening with this multiplication of my energy. And I'm talking like I'm the size of the Milky Way. I am just massive. It's like I could kind of get a sense for me as a singularity, but then just this massive field and this huge, slow moving toroidal field that's just kind of swirling around me. It was really intense. So intense that I decided, okay, I'm going to just run my Merkaba right now. I'm going to get my Merkaba spinning. I'm going to just sit in this container while this is happening all around me. And if you find yourself in a weird energetic space, firing up your Merkaba may be a good option for you. And if you don't know what a Merkaba is, I highly recommend that you look it up. It has a lot to do with Metatron's cube, his energy. And everybody's got a Merkaba, but it's just been one of these things that has been latent for us on the planet, but we've all got one and we get to spark it up. So anyway, I did that. And this Merkaba spun so fast that it just became this glowing sphere around me, which was really cool. And I I felt like I was as big as the universe. I talked about the Milky Way. I think by the time I was done with just being in this field, and I don't know how much time passed, maybe 45 minutes, I'm just, I'm really ginormous, and I've lost all sense of myself through that. Okay, so the beings with the long black arms came back and grabbed my hands gently again. I kind of came out of that space and into a new space. It's like we walked a few paces more down the hall, and I'm back in a white light, and I am starting to feel and sense and see all these things like come into my body. Um, Almost like a video game or something where you're collecting things and it attaches to you, or you absorb it in its points or its tools or its weapons or whatever. Like I am seeing all this kind of thing layer on into my field. Um, Lasers going through my field. Uh, Different colored rays and like different colors of fields going into my body, like rainbows of fields coming into my body. Um, Almost felt like swords and shields and armor, even, which was really bizarre. And at one point, I'd even kind of seen my body come apart, and then they filled up the pieces with things and then put me back together. I was kind of freaking out a little bit because it was feeling a little bit like artificial intelligence. So that popped into my head, and they addressed that. Um, but I just, I just couldn't believe it, and it was so vivid. And I heard the Halls of Amenti guide say, Shawna, this is more of a metaphorical than it is literal in terms of these technology upgrades you're getting. They said they said these are your gifts, these are your new tools that are being given to you because you're ready. Um, and and I laughed. I'm like, this is wonderful. I'll take all the help I can get, not knowing exactly where this is all going, but knowing it's big. And they laughed and they said, well, this is actually all your plan, Shawna. We're just helping you execute it. And of course it is, right? Um, all right, so that all kind of settled down. And they said, Shawna, we're ready to talk to you if you're ready. And I said, okay. So that's when I turned on my recorder. I recorded everything I had just explained to you, and then the Halls of Amenti guide came in. They said, thank you so much, Shawna. What a beautiful experience to see what you saw and to feel what you felt and to assist with this unfolding. You've received a major upgrade. You are ready. At this time, we won't go into too much detail about what was provided to your field, but it will all be put to good use when the moment is right and it's needed. Just trust, dear one, that you have been fortified. You have been fortified, and it's the next natural step on your journey. Okay, team, I said, thank you so much. It's amazing. And they kind of concluded with, Shawna, at this point, just rest easy in the fact, knowing that you have everything you need to execute this mission and to do it with grace and ease and with trust that we're with you every step of the way. All right, enjoy your newfound energetic gifts, Shawna. I said, thank you so much. All right, so I kind of kept it running, and I invited Melchizedek to come in to try to help explain what just happened. Actually, I think I'd paused, went to the bathroom, got something to drink, and then I came back. And I decided, yes, I'd like to talk to Melchizedek. I thought, well, I'm going to just go find them in the conference room, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to wait for them. So I did that, and I get into this conference room, and then my body just explodes upward. Like, instead of the incredible shrinking woman, I'm this incredible growing woman, and I'm just like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'm looking down at them, and they become smaller and smaller, and I can tell they're like laughing at me. But it's like my field was just expanding like a sponge. And they said, don't worry, Shawna, we'll meet you up there. I'm like, okay. So I just went with it. I just let myself just go, and I just let my field expand. It's just like easy. It was just easy. There was just no effort there. It's just crazy. So yeah, feeling infinitely scalable. That was kind of how the feeling was. And I know that we are huge, and I know that we are infinite, but team, this was like a true feeling of that on a very personal level, this infinite scalability, knowing this at a very real level of it's like almost a physical level, and knowing again that our bodies really aren't that important. It's where our consciousness sits. That's the crux of who and what we are. Where is our consciousness? What's our consciousness doing? All right. My wings were out. I'm huge, and I'm just like, Melchizedek, where are you? And they're like, we're here, dear one. I'm like, please help keep me grounded. And they said, certainly, dear one, but you are fully capable of doing this yourself. It's just a choice. Did you guys know that it was just a choice to be grounded? I mean, I think we kind of have to work at it, but it's a choice on some level, I suppose. And then I said, well, maybe I won't choose it. Like maybe I don't want to be grounded. And they're like, as you wish. And they said, you'll grow tired of it eventually. You'll come back, Shawna. And you have many more realms to explore now. Much has been unlocked for you tonight, and it will be glorious. Yay, thank you, team. So powerful. And they said it was important for you to get to this level of consciousness where you could have access to this power, be able to use it responsibly and with love. They said it's going to aid in your manifestation immensely in terms of your mission work. I said, I'm honored and I'm so thankful. And then these guys had me take an oath. This was a first. They said, Shawna, repeat these words after us. Okay. I, Shawna L. Francis, hereby swear to uphold the highest of light standards when working with this multidimensional energy. When in doubt, I will consult Melchizedek before acting on this power and enabling this power to do anything that is in question. Let it be so. But that was a first, doing like swearing an oath. They said, thank you, dear one. They said, it's not that you would need to check in with us every time, but to have this in your conscious awareness. If there's ever a question, please ask. Please consult us, they said. They said here, you're working with a broad spectrum of energies from light to dark. And there will be times where there will not be clarity around exactly what you're working with and what you're manifesting. So we do expect there to be questions, and we do expect there to be a lot of them. So please consult us frequently. Okay, thank you, team. Yeah, this is happening. And then they concluded with this, Shawna, we've cleared the field here for a shorter runway. You'll be able to take flight more quickly and easily, and it's something you will need to get used to. Just making you aware of this. How exciting. Okay, so that was Sunday. Moving on here to Monday. All right, Monday, I got into the Halls of Amenti team. And I didn't really know what was going to happen. I knew I just had this upgrade and things are going well. Kind of just got in there. As soon as I got into the halls, I felt myself expand really huge again. And then I kind of just maintained this. And then all of a sudden, I am feeling this energy course through my body. And I'm not really sure what's happening. So in my mind, I'm like, hey, team, what's going on here? And they said, Shawna, you're cycling energy. I'm like, okay. So this just is coursing through my body. And I do this for a good 45 minutes. Excuse me. I will say that the energy can pool down in my feet and it feels very uncomfortable. Like I don't know if you've ever walked on a vortex or had these, or laying in bed and feeling your like restless legs, restless feet. Like it is just this tension and this tingling, and it feels really awkward. So a lot of that was happening. I really wasn't sure what to do about it. So I just kind of sat with that because I really wasn't sure. I mean, and my mind was doing really bizarre things and thinking of weird things. And I thought, am I sleeping? Am I dreaming? Kind of incoherent in the brain, which is really bizarre. So that went on for a while. And then finally it settled down. I said, team, can you please tell me more about this energy? They said, we're doing deep core energy work, Shawna. We're cycling. I'm not really sure what this means. I mean, it was really intense. And I'm like, they said, Shawna, picture an avalanche of snow just teetering in place. And then at one minute moment, it all lets go and slides down the mountain. You, my dear, were capturing the energy of such an avalanche and bringing it to Earth. You were the container for the release of energy with an event such as that of, as a metaphor, capturing that energy and bringing it to Earth, dear one. You, in essence, were acting as a portal for higher dimensional frequencies to flow through you to the Earth plane. You know, and I know people who do this. I know people who do this regularly in different capacities with different groups, different teams for different reasons. But like a backwards portal, like this energy coming in, I guess it's not backwards. Normally, as a beacon, I think of the energy kind of coming out and circulating. This was all coming in and distributing. I'm going to have to learn how to work with that volume of energy. And I did a little bit today, actually, and it felt a lot better. They said, the work that we've been doing with you the last few days has allowed your container to house such a force and to cycle it. You did a great job. I said, thank you. I'm so glad to be of service in this way. I said, can you please be more specific about the benefits here? And the Halls of Amenti guide said, imagine, Shawna, that because of your work, all bodies of water on the planet rose by 1 inch. It may not seem very perceptible on a small scale, but overall it has a massive impact to the collective energy field. Every rise in frequency helps. It brings us to where we want to be. Okay, and that was it for the halls on that day. All right, moving on. All right, a couple of things from today. Back into the halls of Amenti, more cycling of energy today. What was interesting this time is just a few minutes into this, I feel this really incredible energy enter my body, and I recognize it as a lion energy, and I'm like, team, is this, I'm feeling this, I know this energy, is this a lion energy? And they said, well, it's feline. And they said, yes, you do recognize this energy. Yeah, so there was a time during the daily ascension updates I was making where I became a lion or a lioness and experienced that energy. So, yeah, somehow, somewhere in my background, feline energy, probably being a feline for a while. So that came in. So they were specific, like you're helping to bring feline energy onto the planet today. That's what I did today. My legs weren't near as restless as they were, and I was starting to work with visualization of how to disperse this energy so it wasn't pooling in my feet. And so just I kind of played around with like, oh, I've got holes all through my body and this energy is just shooting out. And then I was like using lightning bolts to kind of shoot this energy out. I'm not sure really what worked the best. I'm still figuring it out. But definitely felt like I was more acclimating. By the way, today and yesterday, day before yesterday, I go into the river and I stick my feet in the river, the cold river, and that helps so much just, disperse the energies. Thank God for that. All right, so I think I did that for about an hour. Wasn't much said there. They just said, Shawna, continue to shine your light. Come back as often as you can. Spend some time with us. You're moving large amounts of energy, and it will continue to get more and more intense as we go. Thank you, dear one. All right. And then I had taken a break, had a bite to eat, came back and grabbed Melchizedek to see if there's anything they wanted to talk to you about today. And they just asked, how are you doing, Shawna? I said, I'm doing great. I'm doing wonderful, and I feel so expanded. And they said, yes, we knew you'd love this. You're ready. Thank you, team, I said, is there anything for the boots on the ground here that you'd like to talk about for the video tonight? And they said, please let them know that they are loved. They are loved. They are loved. And they said here to you, we see each of you in your divinity, and we marvel at the grace with which you are riding these waves with Shawna. It is a delightful sight for us to behold, so thank you all. And as for yourselves, each of you, remember that you chose a path that for many would be nearly impossible to traverse. You knew it wouldn't be easy, but you chose the challenge anyway, knowing the criticality of this moment for this plane of existence. Please rest assured and trust in the knowing that your individual fields carry the potential to transform, to heal, to make new. We thank you for your continued focus and patronage of these messages. That would be all, Shawna. Oh, yes. So that's basically it for this last week, guys. There's plenty going on. I can't wait to see where this goes this week. I'm getting out and I'm kind of in the sun a lot. I'm kind of hanging out by the water, allowing that to kind of keep my fields clear. And I'm just loving it. I'm just enjoying summer so much. It's been so nice. Beaming love to each and every one of you. Thanks to everybody who bought merchandise the last week or 2 weeks. It's been so fun to see what everybody's ordering and all the feedback that's coming back. A lot of shipments just went out within the last few days. So if you haven't gotten your stuff yet, it should be there anytime. Please take pictures of your merch, wearing it or using it or whatever, and I'd like to get them into my newsletters. This week, newsletter's coming out. I'm working on it. It's close, a couple more days. Sign up for my newsletter on my website if you haven't already. I'm going to talk a little bit more about AI, and I'm going to pull out some nice racer quotes and whatever else wants to be channeled. And we'll have a featured Army of Light spotlight as well. Thanks again to everybody who donated money to help sponsor the newsletters. I love you guys. You're the best. You're the best. You're the best. I love all your comments. I love your support. I love meeting you in person. I love meeting you over Zoom. Let's do more of that, guys. Reach out if you need anything at all. Okay, team. Mwah.